take this yellow on and whip them out from the thing.
Introductions, folks. Everybody knows why they're here. We're doing yellow shots. Let's get this on.
Anybody want some yellow?
Please turn off cell phones. The readers, at least. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Hello. So what the fuck has my show got to do with yours?
We'll find a connection.
Exactly.
Though I did watch your show the first 2 seasons and it stopped on my TV.
You did? Really? Yeah. What channel did it stop at?
Fright.
And then watch it again.
It was on demand. It was an on demand thing. So yeah, it was BT on demand.
Wow, that's a sign of apocalypse.
You can only get 2.
Right.
Me and my wife enjoyed it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I said the same thing last night. We're having a good time. How about you?
If you want jello shots, you do. We're going to bring it to you? All right. Well, I know, yeah, mark it out. We'll bring you jello shots yours. I should. Should I? That's what I said. All right.
What? Get killed by an alien fart? It's a little mortified. I had an inkling that they were going to, do away with my character anyway, because when I got the contract for the 3rd series, they said, yes, great, it's one story with 5 episodes. Oh, you'll only be in 3 or 4 out of the 5 episodes. And hang on, what? Do I go on holiday? Vacation? Why am I only in 3 episodes? And then I got the script and then realised, alien.
So I shouldn't find that funny, should I? No.
Good question. All right. All protein. Oh, man, yeah.
Question for Peter. What is the hardest serial you've had to work on?
The hardest serial. The story, hardest story. I think it was. You see, I could get terribly in trouble here because I can't ever remember which story is which. But there was one when I went back to Gallifrey, and they had this brilliant idea that I would be encased in this lovely sort of carbon dioxide, dry ice, basically. And the trouble with if you're in the middle of dry ice is you can't breathe because there's no oxygen. So they, of course, being Doctor Who, they did about 10 takes of it. I was virtually unconscious by the time I did it. And that added to that, Colin Baker was in the same story, which of course was terribly difficult. I had a premonition, that he was after my job. He probably was, yes.
Oh, sorry, that's my job. Alright. Everybody wants to announce it here. Oh, no! Come from that.
I think my main question is, as actors in sci-fi series, were y'all really fans of science fiction before you started acting in them? And if so, what were kind of your favorite series or storylines that you kept up with?
Go on, Colin.
Yeah, I guess I was a fan. I grew up on X-Files and Next Generation would be the ones that I saw. But it wasn't like something that I was gunning for. It's not like oh, I really want to get a sci-fi show. But it's funny hearing the stories because they're all the same. Because sci-fi is like Like when he says carbon dioxide, I'm like, I know where this is going. Because, you know, you all have to do that stuff. There's a blast, and then you and the cameraman end up on the ground for a couple of seconds. You're like, oh, I can't breathe. You know, I can't breathe. So it's a fun job to work in.
I'm doing my fucking drug now.
I wasn't so much a fan of, except I was the first Doctor Who who was actually brought up on Doctor Who. So I actually watched Doctor Who from the first episode through certainly the first two Doctors. So it was a very strange experience to be actually offered the part. I know when I left drama school, I thought, maybe I'd like to get a part in Doctor Who, maybe a couple of lines, that'd be really good. And then I ended up playing one of the Doctors. That's very extraordinary. Apart from that, I was a big fan of science fiction books and magazines. John Wyndham is a famous science fiction British writer. I loved his stuff. And H.G. Wells as well.
Never.
No.
Next Generation for me. Next time a book. So I've got all my face.
He's not kidding. He is drunk, isn't he?
Next one a book. I covered it in silver foil. And that was my Star Trek book because all my Star Trek episodes were on long play on tapes. And I had the number written down of which episode was there with a brief description. My little school book, which I covered in foil. That's how much of a geek I was.
The mic is always going to win out for those raising their hands. Just, you know.
This question is for Peter. Other than yourself, obviously, who's been your favorite Doctor thus far?
My favorite. I think my favorite Doctor when I was growing up and up until the point I played Doctor Who was Patrick Troughton. Because I think he did a fantastic job. He had the hardest job because he was the first regeneration. So I was just addicted to William Hartnell, and suddenly there was Patrick Troughton. Now I feel like I'm rather obliged to say, which is true, my son-in-law. It's family loyalty and all that. We're starting a dynasty.
Thank you.
There's a great conversation going on there. Anyway, take it back.
Hi, my question is for Colin.
Hi.
I was your table yesterday. I gave you a short movie, and
Yes.
and I really felt like for a moment maybe we had an exchange.
Right, so we can sleep together.
You were totally checking me out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. That's what I need to know. Thanks.
It's the end of the lady. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
I've got two here for me. Pardon? You were going double fisting earlier, yes. She had 2 drinks.
This one's for Peter. I wanted to know if you still watch Doctor Who, like the newer episodes.
Yes, I do, because I have 2 sons who are 11 and 13, well, 10 and 12 now, but soon be 11 and 13. So they're, of course, as they should be, addicted to Doctor Who. And now I have got to the point where I have to ask them what's going on. For years they would say, Daddy, what's happening now? And I would explain very dutifully, this is because this is happening, the dark is going there. And now, of course, I get to the point I'm just sitting there going, what? This is not because anything to do with the series, this is just my brain decaying.
Take it back. It's scary. It's pretty fun. I mean, when you do a character for a while, you just get so comfortable with that character does. You know what the character does, and when you go to play something else, you just feel like an ass. For a long time, you finish the take, and you're sort of like, was that terrible? The camera guy's like, yeah, that was pretty bad. Can we go again? They're like, yeah, we're going again. So it was fun, but it was pretty scary to do. Yeah. All right, David. I went to Haiti last couple weeks and helped build an orphanage for folks who needed it. Children, really. Good time. It's rough there, but it was good. And if you're inclined to do something like that, there's a group called Hope to Haiti. Misha Collins is known him. He's a dick. Known for about 10 years. He's a good guy, and he runs it. So all the money goes right to the orphanage. So if you're inclined to give in that direction, Random Acts is the website. Hope to Haiti. It's fun. Good time. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, yes. I want my moves. Can I get my moves?
Yes, this is a question for Colin. Obviously I love you in Eureka, but I also watched you on Ghost Hunters the night that you went with them to the battleship.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that experience.
My thoughts are that's a rough gig. I mean, those guys work nights every night. It's like the Supernatural guys. Like, they work nights. That sucks. Like, you know, all these vampire shows on TV, the first thing that occurs to me is like, that's a night job. You get the script and you're like, I don't want to do that. But it was great. I mean, it was working with those guys was great, and all the sort of the stuff that went down was completely new to me. So their gear and stuff is fantastic, and Jay and Gray are lovely. So I had a fantastic time. It was the USS Hornet, the most haunted ship in the U.S. fleet. Yeah. And on that upbeat note.
Vodka Jelly?
That seems odd about the jello shot. Yeah, so
This is a question for Peter. Outside of the Fifth Doctor's companions, are there any you wish you could have worked with?
I'd rather was attracted to Nina's further Bikini. I thought that was really cool. I don't know, actually. I kind of like my companions, but I've already met the other companions at conventions, so yeah, I'd like to, any of them really. I thought they were all fantastic, great. Incidentally, Colin probably won't like this, but I texted Stephen Moffat, who, as you probably know, is now the producer of Doctor Who, and I said, is there a connection between Doctor Who and Eureka? Can you come up with one? And he said, yes. I wrote a series called Coupling. And there was an American version of Coupling. And guess who was in it?
I've been talking to Steve to get on that show forever on Doctor Who. I'd love to do it. Yeah, so I've known Mr. Moffat for a bunch of different years. So it's been good. I was supposed to do an episode of Sherlock, I guess. It didn't work out. Roller coasters, man. What's up and down? No, it was good. He's a phenomenal guy. Are you going to do one? Are you going to do?
I've done a voice. I did a voiceover. I got a phone call from him. He said, "Would you do something for us on Sherlock?" And I said, "Yeah, great, fantastic." He said, "We put a voiceover to go in the background of a scene in the planetarium." So I went along. It took me about 30 seconds. I think that was my part. I don't think I'm going to be offered another one. If you listen very carefully to the first series, they go into the planetarium. There's a voice in the background moaning on about the various planets. That's me. I was hoping it was something a little bigger, but never mind.
And they say that to us, like, well, we would invite you back, but you've already done it.
Exactly.
He's very busy.
He's Welsh, you know.
Do not tweet this. It's already happened. We already know. David-Lloyd drunk on vodka jellies. Fucks up panel.
My question's for Gareth. James had mentioned that his wife liked watching the kiss between him and John Barrowman, and I was wondering if your wife also enjoyed watching your relationship.
No, she didn't. No, my wife doesn't like me kissing anyone except for her. And it grosses her out.
No, you take it. We're deferring to the mic at all times. Except we love you and want you to know that.
First off, I have an accolade for all of you, and that's thank you for everything you do from the bottom of my own sci-fi nerdy heart. The question which I just got from a friend who is very angry that she can't be here is for Peter. And might there be any sort of rumors or machinations you could let us have an insight to as to whether you'll be back for the 50th?
I have no information, as you heard, I know Stephen quite well. He's not had anything on at all. I'm not counting on any of us being back, apart from perhaps the only one who can legitimately come back is actually David Tennant, because there is a version of him in an alternate world who is growing older. So actually, he's really the only one who can come back in a story sense. But I don't know. Maybe I did the time crash. He came up with a little way of explaining why I was there, even though I was many years older. So I don't know. It would be nice. But I had the idea that I was going to do, if we weren't asked, I was going to do a separate video with the classic Doctors, and it would just be Colin, Sylvester, myself, and Tom sitting around in a telephone.
Okay.
How was it when you played H.G. Wells' assistant on Warehouse 13?
How was it?
Yeah.
It was great. Where's the spin-off? They were, and then it was still happening, and then the last thing I heard, we're still doing a spin-off, but it might be about different characters.
We're still spinning off, but it's going to be a different show. That's a lot.
It's going to be a spin-off of a different show. So if you want to email them and tell them how angry you are, maybe not a good idea. If you want to email them and tell them what a good idea it would be to do the spin-off, then you're very welcome. Sci-fi.
We sort of a good family going, so the relationship with the cast members was the same. I like them all differently. I like producing because it's powerful. And you can just make decisions, and then you're like, no, that's good enough, and everyone just listens to you, which rules. Because as an actor on set, sometimes you just know, you're like, that can't happen like that. Oh, we're going to try to make that happen like that? It's not going to work. You sit there and you stop running for like 2 hours, then you're like, oh, and now we're back to where we said we were going to be. So you get to sort of do all that stuff. The directing's great because you get to protect everybody. You get the story early on, and you get to protect it through pre-production, and then in the shooting of it, you know what everybody's strength is. You just let them go. You can just let them go. Hey, do what you want to do. I need to hear, and then anything else just run with it. And that's just wonderful because you're working for your castmates, which is super cool. And acting is. No, it's good. I mean, it's what we do, and it's fun to do. The hard bit about it is when because as these guys know, you get some people who haven't done it for very long, which is all valid. And sometimes they come on, and they have very different ideas about how the medium actually works. Like, it's so down and dirty at the end of the day. It's so like smoke and mirrors, and do your lines, and stand here, and some people come in with some pretty lofty stuff. And it's that's sort of the hardest thing, is to sort of break them into what the industry actually is, which is which is like, you do it and quick.
You wait till you work on Doctor Who. I should say that was circa 1981, so that won't be possible unless you go back in time, Colin. But in those days, we really were smoke and mirrors and get everything done by 10 o'clock when they turn the lights out.
Oh, so. Did you guys, because now you can fix it in post, like a lot of time on our show, we don't have a prop, so we'll literally hold something like this and sort of do that. No, it's not working. Ah, there, and it's nothing. It's
vodka jelly.
That is the line though, isn't it? We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. But they can do all sorts of electric shocks and things, but like that, you guys couldn't fix it. You had to have you just
that's absolutely.
That's broken. I'll put it in my pocket. Oh, There's no plan because it's sci-fi. So, but the monkeys throwing darts at a board. Maybe don't post that.
It's already been tweeted. They were tweeting it. I saw them.
No plans, but we all said that we'd love to do it, and we'd love to be involved in any way that we can. I mean, it's a show that was great for us, and
I'm free. Let's make this connection between Torchwood Eureka.
We don't have a problem with that.
We're doing that. This is my third. Despite the fact it's all over me. You need a spoon with these things. Not yet, maybe after a couple of hours in the bourbon bar.
Alright, take it away.
This is not a question. Really, it's for all three of you, but how hard is it to go back and watch yourself and do like recording DVD commentary or any of the commentaries that have special features?
Depends how bad the performance was.
Seth the Trump guy in my back. It's hard to remember sometimes what went down. You remember sort of the scene, but it's really hard to remember sometimes the logistics and the problems. I sometimes have to watch it once or twice and then do the commentary, just so I can sort of remember. Or if I'm stuck, I call a friend and I was like, "Can you do this with me?" Because we make up stuff.
We look back at the things, and we have a very strange relationship with Doctor Who. I love doing it, but a lot of the stuff that could have been done so much better. So we start.
Sorry for boring you. Sorry for boring you.
So listen, bye. Nice to see you. Why did they have to leave when I was talking? So quite often I do a lot of the commentaries with Janet Fielding and Glenn Tegan, and very often we're stopped by the people in the control room and say, "Could you find something nice to say about the episode?" Because we're fairly brutal with it. And sometimes we worry we're giving the wrong impression, that we hated every minute of it, which we didn't at all. But there are so many holes you can dig in it. It's just such fun to go, "Look at that set wobbling."
You're always sort of going, what can be better? Maybe something works after this, and so you sort of sometimes jump back into that headspace. And it's not negative at all. In fact, it's the opposite. You're striving to make it better all the time.
Yes, lovely.
I have a question for Colin.
Thanks.
How fun was it to do tabletop, and how long did it take to reset the board?
This episode of Tabletop is Go Weekly, where you basically play a board game for an hour or two, which is great. Really, really fun. And I did it with Will and his wife and Amy and myself, and we're counting up the score at the end of it. And Will's wife makes a joke. It goes like this, and the whole board. And you're never sure the marathon ends, right? I'll be like, I thought he was going to kill him. His hands go up, and her hands go up, and then it was not long, probably 5 or 10 minutes. They had an overhead camera.
The whole thing was like, how long is it really?
Yeah, I got her a drink. She had a drink. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm sorry, I know you're back there.
Well, like I said, I was a big Trekkie Next Generation when I was younger, but at the moment, I'm loving Game of Thrones. I think I said I'm pretty addicted to Game of Thrones. Why did I get into acting? I couldn't do anything else really. I'm a vocalist in a band. That doesn't mean I'm a good musician. I can play the piano a bit, and I can play the trumpet, which is the first instrument that I learned. But I always wanted, there was always a need for some type of artistic outlet for me when I was younger, and my auntie recognised it, so she tried music lessons, and then it was the drama lessons that really captured me. I was there, and that's what I wanted to do from the age of 18.
Oh yeah, I got into acting for the same reason. I failed all my exams at school, completely hopeless, and therefore was able to do whatever I wanted to because my parents had just sort of given up. They were always very supportive when I said I was going to apply for drama school, but they thought I had no chance at all. And much to their shock, I got in by the skin of my teeth. But I have nothing else to fall back on at all, really. So I have to keep going. That's why I'm still here. Except, I did write a TV theme tune once, actually, to a television series. Yes, I could do that. It was it was a kids series called Button Moon. Button Moon? Button Moon? You wrote it? I wrote it, That's a moon. That's me.
I was a super shy kid. I was a smart kid, and it's the strangest thing that I do this now because I couldn't speak in public until I was like 20. That was sad. It's a tragic story. But I needed money. It's a lot to pursue. So I started doing comedy in bars, and it just sort of led into something that I really needed to do at a certain point. And if you can do anything else, obviously do anything else. But it's I wouldn't trade it. I absolutely love it.
This is the Daleks question for all of you. Who's your all's favorite sci-fi villain?
You, buddy.
I'd like to see a fight between you and the Borg, though. That'd be a good battle.
I was at the Cybermen, actually. Sorry, I'm very sorry. I don't mean that.
He's going loco. He's going. Calm down. He's going.
You want to go leave the room now?
This question is for Gareth. Before I ever watched Torchwood, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Shark Attack 3 with John Barrowman. So my question, because from his epically famous line in that movie, and then his character Captain Jack is kind of a slut. So I was curious as to whether he's as sexual in person as
the reason we had to do so many takes in Torchwood, never mind the reasons for Doctor Who or Eureka, was because we had to prize his willy out of props to get him to stand on his mark. So no, he wasn't very sexual at all.
What's your ideal role? Do you do one role, regardless of contacts or issue? What would you want to do?
A specific role. I don't know if I've got one. I really haven't. I'm too old to do any of those things like say Hamlet if you are. What?
No matter. What's your ideal role?
I like Dr. Faustus. Yeah, I like that.
Faustus now has to have one where to live. I've done that.
Really?
In college, yeah.
Fuck you. Is there any kids here? Sorry about that.
I've already spoiled that one.
No, I love that play. I'd love to do that.
I'll pick that for stuff later.
This is for Colin. You said that you really enjoyed the power of being a producer and getting to make the decisions. Was your first decision? Was your first decision? I want to make out with everyone on the show. Because it seems like this past season, you were making out with
John Barrowman said.
No, that wasn't my first decision. Erica gets it the worst. Every time we get a script where she's in the guy with someone, she's like, "Oh, why me again?" So, she's the best. I mean, like, the nicest. Actually, Erica Lubo. She's a dingbat.
This one's for all of you guys. If there were going to be a remake of any series, is there any certain sci-fi character you guys would want to play, your dream role that you never got to play?
You guys know that? I will go for the captain of a starship on a Star Trek reinvention. Yeah, top that.
I can't think of anything at all.
Do you guys think that they would ever let an American Doctor Who happen?
Don't be ridiculous, Colin.
They don't ever watch under Obamacare.
They're in Sherlock.
Of course, the Paul McGann Doctor, the Paul McGann Doctor, who was an American production, of course, and they still didn't go for an American. So I don't know if they would. Like, there's something quintessentially British, isn't there? I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying it's a little difficult to do.
I didn't mean to start like a 5-alarm fire. And I'll step away.
If it was anyone, it would be Colin.
Oh, absolutely.
You can tweet that reaction if you want.
This question's for Garrett. You said your wife was not happy watching you have to kiss John, but how did you enjoy it?
I nearly asked that question.
It's a terrible kisser. Terrible kisser. I don't know whether he's got different styles or what.
What's your style?
I'll show you later. No. Well, the experience for me was I was thankful that he didn't have, what would have freaked me out is stubble against stubble.
I thought you were going to say cold sore when you did that.
No, herpes free. But
just so everybody knows.
His face is smooth like a woman's. So close your eyes, it's not too bad.
I just wanted to see if you were still okay on Jello up there.
I'm saving this one. I've got so much abuse for it now. I'm going to save my full.
I want to demo it for you too. You kind of take it like this, one time around the edge.
That looks dirty from here. But great job. Hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. President, please start. Oh, it's crazy that when you grow up watching people on TV and then you work with them, like you go home the night before and you prep a little more seriously. Like, especially on a series, you can show up with fun and edit it, where you're like, I can learn that in the morning, but when we'd Wallace Shawn and do a thing, and when you get your will show up, you just sort of try a little harder so you don't look like you're bad. But it's fun now when you meet people who know that you do a show and you grew up watching them. It's a complete mind bending. It's really weird.
I had a big problem with Will Wheaton's character in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to be the new Mozart, this grand genius, and he turned into a like. I don't know what Will essentially said, not Will, but the character. The character, he came back and he was all, you know, angsty and he was like 20. He was acting all childish, and so I think we liked that arc in his character. And I wanted to play Where's the Pressure? Oh. She was alright.
Let's see the speaks first.
Well, it was just in tandem with the last question. Peter having grown up watching Cardinal, Craftsman, and then working with Fright Night.
Well, I worked with Patrick Troughton before that, actually, in a series called Preacher Straight and Small. He was a guest. So I just view him as Patrick, really. It wasn't in that sense boring. Right? It was to be, you know, when I did the 5 Doctors, he was surrounded by all of those guys, even though Tom Baker was just a flashback. Tom Baker, actually, who preceded me, once gave me some advice before I started my first episode, when we did what they call the regeneration scene, where I turned from Tom Baker. But there was so much noise in the bar, I couldn't hear what he said. And I just nodded politely and went, okay, fine. And I asked him the other day what it was he'd said, and he couldn't remember. Far too late now, anyway, Sam.
We ballsed it up anyway.
Whatever it was, I was still the best.
Like very forthcoming, people might not be like a widely known fact. Like what's one thing that you learned? You're like, oh, how do people know that?
Keep your clothes on.
Learn your lines. I think there's a trend I've noticed between young actors coming into things that there doesn't seem to be a need to know your lines well. And I think that you need to know your lines so well that then you can then play with it. You then do all those things, but if you're trying to think all the time, what's the next line, you just can't relax into it.
A lot of young actors, they stop at 27 as the age. That's sort of the age in Britain anyway, where most young actors give up and pursue something else. So I'd say, for me, it's determination and staying power is the most important thing you can tell an actor, even if it feels like it's been an eternity. If you really, really want to do it, if you really believe in it, or like myself, you can't do anything else. Stick at it, pick yourself up. And it's not so much the art of becoming a better actor, it's the art of keeping that confidence in yourself and not letting rejection after rejection get you down. If you could conquer the art of picking yourself back up and carrying on, then you're much more likely to get there in the end.
And be self-aware. Know what try to learn what your wheelhouse is. Try to learn what you do well and where you pop, so that you can use that whenever it comes out. It's sort of about that. I think that's a lot of just knowing what you do. Sort of like, this is what I do, and I do it pretty well. And then you can extend from that, but know what you do.
Yeah, be honest with yourself.
Yeah. And especially when you suck, that's the best thing when you go like, I was awful. And it's very great.
For all of you, I know that you're representing I'm not even sure what you're doing right now.
Most depressing question. Gotta continue, it's great.
Well, I decided to take the summer off because I've been in a show in West End for 2 years. And then I thought I'd just relax in the sunshine, and the weather has been shit. So I'm here, and now the weather is 100. What is it now here? No, it's shit the other way. But I'm doing another series of Law and Order UK in and I have this, it's a sort of sod's law thing that I keep thinking, I think I might retire now. And the moment I play with that idea, my agent seems to ring it up. It's terrible. I'm just going, I think I've had enough of this. I think I'm just going to relax and just retire and there he is on the phone going, Peter, how about this? And it works a dream.
You know what, man, I think I've had enough of this, and I think I'm going to retire. In development, shot something, going to shoot something else, and just keep sort of plugging away. Development's a fun place to be, because you write stuff and you try to control it, and then they'll all say no, but it's a fun process to pursue.
Oh, it's my go. Yeah. I'm doing Holby City, which is sort of British ER, I suppose. I'm doing 4 episodes of that, so I'm working on the new album with the band Blue Gillespie. We are now. Now I know where to get the rights from.
I'll do backing vocals.
Did you sing it as well?
Yeah.
I love Burton.
Here, take it away.
Well, I think I've already said it. I mean, I have to say David Tennant because he is now my son-in-law, so I mean, probably I didn't say that. No, but I did think he was fantastic. I was surprised in a way that he took the part because when Chris Eccleston left, David's career was really in the ascendancy, and I think he could have done virtually anything. And the reason he did Doctor Who was because he loved it so much, and I think that really came over in the series. And I think he did a fantastic job. And he is my son-in-law.
No, who did make these jokes? I literally, how stupid is this? They gave me a bucket backstage. Someone I'd never met before comes up to me and gives me a bucket and says, "Hand these out to strangers."
And for any of you that were asking about the acting, I'm giving a panel tomorrow at 1 on how to break into SAG, so all the details. But yes, it's vodka. There are cherry with cherry vodka, raspberry with raspberry vodka, and grape with just vodka.
There's a difference between...
There is a flavor difference. It's vodka. We figured that's the way to really liven up the panel. And I heard tale of Colin galloping in Denver. Apparently the altitude makes you act like a horse sometimes. Or ride an invisible horse, my friends were saying.
Alright, that story, I don't know where that came from. The gallop?
Yeah, I don't know. They said that you came moving by riding an imaginary horse galloping.
I don't know. That's massive.
But I figured anybody who would do that will throw away strange buckets of Jell-O, so there you go. You're all welcome.
Where that comes from.
It's nothing done.
Get your videos ready, we won't be leaving the stage.
I am British, I am Welsh, I'm not English. I was actually doing a convention in Peterborough, which was sort of east of England, and Gemma was heavily pregnant, my wife, and she was overdue, and she came with me on the condition that if anything did start to happen, I was capable of driving back to Wales so we wouldn't have an English baby.
I should be insulted. Oh, you're right there. So I'm in the camera. All right.
The same thing.
Well, all right. Hi. Who am I saying hi to?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Margaret. Hi, Margaret.
Margaret, your daughter is so drunk. Tell her to put her clothes back on. Dying.
Lots of interior or like exterior, night, rain. You know.
no costume changes. Just one costume, that was the best thing about Doctor Who. One costume all the way through, didn't have to keep running up to the dressing room, putting on a costume for scene 3, act 4, whatever it was.
Yeah. We're so lazy.
You did pretty well, didn't you? With the
One uniform, all series. And you do the costume, and you're like, I think my character's problem is uniform. And I am on my way to work. Shades of bias. What do I like to see? I have lots of things going through my mind.
If you know, a few pages in, I'm still aware that I'm reading a script, and then halfway into it, I'm still aware that I'm reading a script, then I tend not to finish it. I like to get lost in the script. My imagination does work overtime when I'm reading. So I suppose the effectiveness of a script is how much I can lose myself in it, how real it becomes, how much I can imagine it, how much I can see it, how much I can connect with the words, the characters.
Yeah, it's a bad sign when you close it. You're not going to get a break.
Yes.
How close, this is for Andy, how close are what we actually see on TV in these episodes are like the scripts that you guys add them or improv, or does that go on very often during your shows?
Yeah, ours it does.
It just depends on the show and the writer, really, actually. I've done a couple of scripts. I did a script by Andrew Davis, who is a great writer, and you really don't want to change a word of it. You just want to do every sort of, dot, to play exactly as it's played. There are other scripts which you need help, really. And so you do just work on those in the rehearsal process and just try and, we don't do, I don't think you do as much improvisation as you probably do in American shows. It's not kind of the British way of doing things, I think. We're a bit sort of old-fashioned in that way. We tend to kind of stick to the script.
The writer does the words and the actor reads.
Kind of, yeah. I think that's true. I think you hear a lot of stories. Especially when you see these sort of outtakes at the end of what usually films, where the actors are doing different things in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do that in like, it's never like that. It's never freeing to have to improvise. It's always like you prefer to get a script that the words are so well crafted that it's a joy to do them, and you're stunned by how you never need to add anything. I mean, that's an amazing feeling. But frequently, yeah, it's that. It's like they've written something, and you have 10 feet to walk from this door to that door, and they've written 2 pages, and you're like, you can't fit in. We've got to adjust it, we've got to make it work, so it's sort of logistics. Not talking about it's logistics.
I'm doing it as well.
Yes. Stop now.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I didn't touch any of those prompts after John Barrow left me.
Various things you pick up along the way, and then people will write to you and say, do you have anything you can give for a charity auction? And those sort of things which aren't so important to you, you tend to sort of just send off. So I'm definitely...
Yeah, I stole some stuff. Yeah, it's just little things like my name like the desk and my uniform and the badges and
the set.
Actually, that was a lot of stuff. Now that I think about it. It was a box that was like this big.
I had a similar box of clothes and things. Just ties, shoelaces, a £50 watch, small things.
What?
Pardon? Yeah, I've still got some of the suits, yeah. No.
I didn't even take my stuff, I took other people's stuff. I brought a big box in the wardrobe and I was like, yeah,
That way everyone else gets the blame.
Yeah. Why would I take your stuff? That's just weird.
How do I possibly follow that?
And I feel bad for saying I have a question more for Colin because you're all absolutely bloody brilliant. But noticing what you've been doing more with producing and directing the last couple of seasons of Eureka, I wanted to see, as an actor and director, if you had a preference for the episodes where you were just in front of the camera or acting and then jumping back behind the camera, like directing your fellow castmates and stuff, and seeing if you had a preference one way or the other, just being where you were in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, having to jump back and forth sucks. It's because you can't do either job as well as you'd like to. If there's a camera move, you don't actually know if it'll work. So that's hard. I prefer to do one or the other. I directed a movie, which I like, with actually Emilia Clarke, who does Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's right. I directed it. Movie's terrible too. But it's great to do one or the other. Is probably what I'd say. Do I prefer either one? They're sort of the same to me. But I like to tell people what to do. That's always or ask them politely, please do something for me.
It was made of canvas. We didn't replace the celery stick at all. There was only one real stick of celery in the entire show, and that was when in Enlightenment, I think I walked in and there was a pot on the table and I had to take a bite because I'm into love celery. What you didn't see is when the cameras were switched off, I went, because I don't like it. And it was a canvas thing because it would just wilt, unfortunately. So it was just one little piece of celery stuck on a bell for 3 years.
It's nothing worse than a wilty celery.
Nothing is worse.
This question for Peter and Garrett. We've both done quite a bit of radio drama. How's that experience compared to, typical camera acting?
No costume changes.
Well, yeah,
You don't have
no shaving.
You don't have to learn the words.
do you find
It's lazy.
Is it as gratifying or is it gratifying in a different way?
It's gratifying. Yeah, I find it gratifying in a different way. But what happens is, especially talking about the big finish things that I do, because you do them inside 2 days, I can't really remember anything about them. So people will ask me questions about what's my favourite big finish story. I couldn't tell you because I don't know what each story is about. Once you've done it, you've kind of done it, and it's a thrill when you're doing it because you're kind of walking a tightrope a bit because you're not, you haven't studied the script in the way that you would study it for a TV show. But there is a thrill in doing it, but then it's kind of gone out of your head after a couple of weeks. So it's gratifying in a different way, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you've got the cans on you and you can really hear yourself where on set, you can't really hear what you sound like when you're talking normally into a room, but when you've got the cans and you can hear your own voice, you've got more control, I suppose, over the way you sound. You can manipulate your voice and hear the products straight away without worrying about it. So that's satisfying. Working with people like David-Lloyd as well, which I just did in the Scary Flyers. Was a great thrill doing scenes with him. Have you done that as well, the Scary Flyers?
No.
There
is a problem I found with audio drama, and that is that you tend to sort of retreat into voice modulation acting. And a few years ago at BBC, someone came up with what seemed at the time the maddest idea in the world, and that is that they would record radio drama on location. And I thought they were completely crazy. So that if there was a story set in a house, say, or they would actually take you out on location and they would follow you around as you walked around. Obviously no costumes or anything like that, but you would do it. But the effect was absolutely brilliant because it stopped actors doing that thing where they're sort of, they are very interesting, and people sort of tend to do that sort of bad radio modulated voice acting. And it stopped all that. They now not, I think they're not doing it so much now, which is a great shame, because when I first heard it on the radio, I thought, there's something different about this drama. It doesn't sound like and it was because it was on location. Then I did one, and it was great.
It sounds very clean, doesn't it, really? But a lot of the time it sounds
it's too clean.
Too clean and methodical and processed. Yeah.
You guys both have great voices, like I said. It's awesome. It's like sexy.
Thank you.
You guys have another? Oh, sorry.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Yeah, I like the more comedic ones. I like Up in the Air with the bank gets taken. And I like like the body swap episode from this year. But that was great. It was probably my favorite. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think we have time for one more question. So, unfortunately,
All right, so that means you get 45 Jello shots.
There's a lot of Jello in there.
Take it away, Mike.
I guess it's for all of you. When you guys, since a lot of you guys have all done a lot of stuff, when you guys read in a script that your character is ending, dying off, whatnot, have you ever wheeled and dealed with the director or writer so it is not?
I'm drunk, I'm spaced out. What?
Have you ever tried to bargain with the director or writer to try to keep your character on if the character is dying off and the series is continuing?
If you're being killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's story. Well, let me tell you.
I guess it is mostly aimed at Gareth.
Yeah. Yes, neither Colin nor myself have ever really been killed off.
Why would you kill us?
No, exactly. Only really Gareth has been killed
Yeah,
off.
a lot of here. It's weird.
I get killed off a lot. I did have the belief that the quieter you go, the more likely they are to bring you back. No. No. Next time that anyone kills me off, I'm going to go kicking and screaming. No, I'm joking. You know, it depends on how it happens, I suppose, and the story arc and the way it happened, and the scene that it happened in, and the circumstances where it was so powerful, so moving. You couldn't argue with it. You know, you couldn't sort of say, "Oh, you know, it was the best series, wasn't it? Children of Earth." You wouldn't good after that.
It would be really fun to just not die and see that. Like all the spoofs go off, you shot 6 times, you're like, what?
There was a
fall on the ground.
There was a scene where Gwen's walking down with Jack, and then they lift the plastic off the dead bodies. Of course, Jack's there, and Yanto's there, and Jack's mobile, and Yanto isn't, so it's that, you know. Gwen pulls the plastic back from John, and she smiles slightly because she knows he's coming back. And then there's the sad bit where she pulls back, and Yanto's there. There were a couple of takes where whenever she pulled the plastic back, either me and John would have a big fake moustache up with our eyes on. But you know, we had to give up on that in the end, and play dead properly.
You guys have been really, really great.
Yeah, thank you.